Good morning, students. So far, we have covered first and second lecture about wheat crop production practices. Today, we are going to see about barley and oats, its origin, geographic distribution, economic importance, soil and climatic requirements, varieties, cultural practices, and yield. These were the concepts which we are going to see in this crop production of barley and oats. Now we are going to see about barley. Here you can see the barley grains and the plant and its spikes. Okay, here we are going to see what was the barley, from where it has been came. Barley is popularly known as Jau, JAU in Hindi, and one of the most important cereal grain after rice, wheat and maize. In India, this crop is cultivated as a summer crop in temperature regions and as winter crop in tropical regions. Barley is a short growing season crop and has good drought tolerance. In olden days, barley was mainly used as livestock feed, and currently it is one of the grains used daily in human consumption. As barley malt, barley also play important role in industrial consumption. Coarse cereals are made of these along with other cereal crops like oats, pure millet and finger millet, corn, maize, sorghum. Generally, barley is cultivated as a rabi season crop in India, and sowing being undertaken from October to December and harvesting from March to May. Sowing is from October to December and harvesting is from March to May. Remember this point. Okay, now let's see introduction of this. Barley is an important rabi crop of northern plains of India. Barley is a cereal grain botanically known as Hordeum vulgare. Botanically known as Hordeum vulgare. It is widely grown fourth cereal and among top 10 crop plants in the world. Barley was mainly cultivated and used for human food supply in the last century, but nowadays it is significantly grown as animal feed, malt products, and human food respectively. In addition, barley is very well known as a model crop for plant breeding methodology, genetics and cytogenetics, pathology, virology, and biotechnology studies. Barley is also primary ingredient in the making of variety of popular foods in the world. The Old English word for barley was barry. The untied word barry survives in the north of Scotland as bear and refers to a specific strain of six-row barley. If we see in Islamic literature, according to the scholars of hadiths, it means prophetic sayings, barley supposed to be very nutritious, beneficial in coughs and inflammation of the stomach. Hadiths recommends sato. Sato means powdered barley is a healthy product. Another health product, talbania, is a meal made from sato by adding milk and honey to the dried barley powder. This meal is highly useful for sick and grieving and also gives rest to the heart of the patient and makes it active. And also, according to Inal Qayyum, barley water 1 liter boiled until the contents reduced to 3 quarters is used as a thirst quencher, skin freshener, cleansing and softening normal skin. Hagiwara discovered the high organic sodium content of barley, which keeps calcium in solution form in the bloodstream. This helps to dissolve the calcium deposits in the joints. Barley also replaces the organic sodium of the stomach lining and which helps the digestion by improving the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. The enzyme superoxidase dismutase SOD isolated from barley is a powerful antioxidant which protects the cell against the diseases causing free radicals that destroy healthy cells. Let's see botanical description of barley. Okay, barley is a member of grass family. It is a self-pollinating diploid species with 14 chromosomes. The wild ancestor of domesticated barley, it means Hordeum vulgare, subspecies spontaneous, is abundant in grasslands and woodlands throughout the Fertile Crescent and is abundant in disturbed habitats, roadsides and orchards. Let's see the classification, the taxonomy of barley. It belongs to kingdom Plantae, subkingdom Tracheobionta, superdivision Spermatophyta, division Magnoliophyta, class Liliopsida, subclass Commelindae, order Cyperales, family Poaceae, genus Hardium. It is the taxonomy of barley crop. Let's see the classification of barley. Barley has been divided into three ways. Barley can be classified in many different ways. One way to classify barley is to identify it by whether there are 2, 4 or 6 rows of grains on the head. It means the arrangement of grains. Based on the arrangement of grains, it may be 2, it may be 6, it may be of 4. 6-row barley can produce 25 to 60 grains, while 2-row barley produce 25 to 30 grains. 4-row barley is actually low. 6-row barley. Wild barley is generally 2-row. Most cultivated barley is of 6-row type. It means cultivated barley is of 6-row type. Second way to classify barley is to describe the beards. It means awns covering the kernels. In the barley germplasm database, awns are described according to the following morphology: based on long awnt, short awnt, normal hooded, elevated hooded, subjacent hooded, long awnt in central row, and awnletted or awnless in lateral rows. Short awnt in central row and awnletted or awnless in lateral rows. Awnless or awnletted in central and lateral rows. Elevated hoods in central row and awnless in lateral rows. Not only that, another way of the classification of barley is on the basis of their nature. First one is pearl barley is the most popular form of barley in the United States. Extensive processing removes the 2 outer hulls along with the bran layer, resulting in uniform sized ivory grains with very little fiber. This also process makes it less chewy to the bite, but it also removes a vast majority of the barley inherent nutrition. Its flavor is mild and nutty. Second one, rolled or flaky barley is similar to rolled oats and is used as a cereal. Barley flour, also known as barley meal, has a low gluten content which results in low rise, so it is often combined with higher gluten flours when used for leavened breads that need to rise. Barley grits are toasted. This was the fourth variety. Ground barley grains used as cereal or cooked side dish. If we are going to see fifth one, hulled barley, also known as whole wheat barley, has only. Moving to hulled barley, it is also known as whole wheat barley, has only the outer layer removed, leaving the bran layer intact. It is extremely high in fiber and nutrition, with a pronounced flavor that makes the toothy workout worthwhile. These forms require the longest cooking time. Scotch barley has been husked and then coarsely ground. It takes a long cooking time to become tender. At last, quick barley is pearl barley that has been steamed and dried. It will cook up the fastest and usually in less than 15 minutes. Nowadays, even moms were making barley juice for our good health. If you check the time of that boiling period, it will take very lengthy period for boiling, so that we can use this whichever less time, if you can pick out the less cooking period of barley variety, and we can suggest to our mothers. And next, moving to origin and distribution. Here the origin of barley hasn't given properly yet, but here near East region as probable place of origin for barley. Abyssinia is believed as center of origin for barley by one group, and Southeast Asia, it means in China, Tibet and Nepal, by another group. Next, moving to distribution, barley is cultivated almost similar to wheat crop. In the world, Europe is the most predominant continent growing barley, followed by Asia. The countries such as Russian Federation, China, Canada, USA, Spain, France, Australia, UK and India cultivate the barley. If we see in India, mostly in Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Haryana, Punjab and Himachal Pradesh are the major states cultivating barley. Next, moving to economic importance. For economic importance, it is important next to rice, wheat, maize in area and production. It is more suitable than wheat in India. Due to hardy nature, it can withstand adverse agro environments like drought, salinity, alkalinity, varied topography like plain, hill, under rainfall and irrigated conditions. It is a crop preferred by farmers where wheat is not possible. It is a rabi cereal crop and food for people of cooler and semi-arid parts of the world. In India, 90% of barley used as human food, used for preparation of malt, beer, whiskey and industrial alcohol, vinegar, energy-rich drinks like Bonvita, Boost, Horlicks and biscuits are from barley malt. If we see in medicinal value of barley, it reduces cholesterol level in liver and also stimulates fatty acid synthesis in liver. In USA, as cattle feed and horse feed, barley has great demand to malting industry. Good quality grain production may open foreign exchanges. If we see about the protein content in barley, it is about 11.5%, carbohydrate 74%, fat 1.3%, crude fiber 3.9% and ash content is 1.5%. In India, the production has been quite stable with Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh forming the largest producers of it. Saudi Arabia is the largest importer of barley in the world. In terms of derivatives trading, it's the second mostly traded coarse cereal after corn in the global market. The Winnipeg Commodity Exchange and Sofia Commodity Exchange from Bulgaria are the most prominent exchanges for barley trade, wherein trading unit is in metric tonners. In India, it is mainly traded on MCX in units of 10 metrics. If we moving to varieties, there are number of varieties in barley. Some of the important varieties I have listed here. First one is Amber and it is released by Chandrasekhar Azad Agriculture University, Kanpur, and its suitable areas were eastern Uttar Pradesh. Yield and maturity were grain yield is about 25 to 30 quintal per hectare and its maturity period is 130 to 133 days and its special characteristics were fine quality grains for malt production. If we see second variety G25 released by Hisar Agriculture University, Haryana Agriculture University, located at Hisar, and if we see its yield and maturity, the grain yield is about 30 quintal per hectare and its period is about 120 to 130 days. And third variety is Himani and its suitable areas were medium to lower hill valleys of Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh and its grain yield is 32 to 36 quintal per hectare. If we see the fourth variety LSB2, suitable areas were higher altitude of Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh hilly areas. Grain yield is about 25 to 30 quintal per hectare and its maturity period is about 145 to 150 days. And the special characteristics of these varieties were 6-row barley variety. And we can see number of varieties. Some of the varieties I haven't listed here. Please note down that varieties. And the next variety is Dolma and it is released by Shimla. Suitable areas were rainfed regions of medium to high elevation of Himachal Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, hilly zones, and its yield is grain yield is about 35 to 40 quintal per hectare and its maturity period is about 140 to 150 days. And next variety is Jyoti and it is released by Chandrasekhar Azad University located at Kanpur and its suitable areas were irrigated areas of Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, Delhi, northwestern Rajasthan, Bihar and West Bengal. If you see the yield of its variety, Grain yield is about 35 to 40 quintal per hectare and maturity is about 120 to 125 days. And some other varieties were Kailash, and it is in the suitable areas for medium to low elevation of Himachal Pradesh, rain-fed hilly areas, and its grain yield is about 40 quintal per hectare and its maturity period is about 145 to 150 days. And its special characteristics were unaffected by yellow rust disease caused by Puccinia fungus. Next variety is Neelam. It is released by Indian Agriculture Research Institute of New Delhi, and it is suitable in areas of irrigated and rain-fed areas of Punjab, Haryana, Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, and its grain yield is about 50 quintal per hectare, and its special characteristics were the grains are rich in protein and amino acids like lysine. Next variety is Ratna, and it is released by Indian Agricultural Research Institute, New Delhi, and its suitable areas were rain-fed eastern Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and West Bengal. Its yield is about fodder yield is about 150 quintal per hectare, grain yield is about 20 quintal per hectare, and its maturity period is 125 to 130 days. Special characteristics of this variety is highly tolerant to saline and alkaline soils. These are some varieties of barley. Next, moving to soil and climate conditions. If we see the climatic requirement of barley require this is a summer or winter crop. It can be successfully grown in tropical and subtropical climatic condition. The crop requires around 12 to 15 degrees centigrade temperature, and it's during growing period and around 30 to 32 degrees centigrade at maturity. The crop is extremely frost sensitive at any stage of growth. Any incidence of frost at flowering stage can result in huge yield loss. Barley crop is tolerant to drought and can survive in high temperature. Next, moving to soil requirement, barley is mostly cultivated in sandy to moderately heavy loam soils. With soils sandy to moderately heavy loam soils. Therefore, soil of Indo-Gangetic plains having neutral to saline reaction and medium fertility are the most suitable soil types for barley cultivation. Barley crop can be cultivated in saline, sodic and lighter soils too. Soil acidity impairs the root growth of barley crop, hence acidic soils are not suitable for barley conditions. Okay, these were the soil and climatic requirement of barley crop. Next, moving to cultivation practices. If we see about field preparation, normally field preparation plays a main role in germination and other practices in future practices of barley cultivation. Field preparation is about first ploughing should be undertaken with disc harrow or soil turning plough to uproot rampa and kill over wintering pests and weeds. Field must be precisely leveled and irrigated heavily before sowing. The field may contain optimum soil moisture after 5 to 15 days depending on soil type. 2 to 3 ploughings may be done with harrow to make soil well pulverized. 2 to 3 ploughing with cultivator is required, followed by planking after every ploughing. Remember these practices. After that, now it is seed and sowing. There are different seed rates required for different types of barley crop. If it is irrigated timely sown, it requires 100 kg per hectare and the time of sowing is 10 to 25th November. And spacing required is 23 centimeters. If it is irrigated late sown variety, it requires 120 to 125 kg per hectare of seeds and time of sowing is 26th November to 31st December. Spacing required is 18 centimeters. If it was rain-fed plains, the seed rate required is 100 kg per hectare and time of sowing is about 25th October to 10th November and spacing required is 23 centimeters. If we see about in rain-fed hilly region varieties. The seed rate required is about 100 kg per hectare and time of sowing is 20th October to 7th November and spacing required is 23 centimeters. Moving to seed treatment, it is very important step before sowing, as we all know that seed treatment helps to reduce the incidence of pest, seed-borne pest, so that we have to treat the seeds with fungicides and some other contents. Proper seed treatment methodology should be implemented to save the barley crop from termites, ants and other insect pests. Barley has very poor resistance to loose moths. Treatment of loose moth disease can be performed with Vitavax or Bivastine at the rate of 2 gram per kg of seeds. To control covered smut disease symptoms, mixture of Thiram and Bivastine or Vitavax of 1:1 ratio at the rate of 2.5 gram per kg seed is recommended. Termites can cause huge crop loss in barley. Next, moving to spacing for barley plant. Already have said in different varieties. Now we are going to see the common. In common, row spacing for irrigated situation should be 22.5 cm and 22.5 cm to 25 cm for rain-fed situation. Depth of sowing must be of 5 cm under irrigated situation, whereas in rain-fed condition it should be of 6.6 to 8 cm. If we see about method of sowing, seed drilling or seed dropping technique are the best ways for seed sowing. Indian farmers mostly use shonga for dropping seed to field, which is attached to a desi plough. We can use shonga for dropping seeds to field, which is attached to a desi plough. Okay. Next, moving to fertilizer application. In common, if we see, add 10 to 15 quintals of well-rotten farmyard manure per kernel at the time of first ploughing. And it means NPK requirement is about 40, 30 and 20 kg per hectare. The full dose of phosphorus and potash and 1/3 amount of nitrogen should be broadcast on soil before final ploughing, or better if it placed at the time of seed sowing by seed-com fertilizer drill. Balance amount of nitrogen splitted into 2 equal top dressing. First top dressing of or tillering stage or 30 days after sowing. Second top dressing will be at boot stage or 60 days after sowing. Okay. If we see the NP ratio of fertilizer content of irrigated and timely sown varieties, it requires 60 kg of nitrogen per hectare and 30 kg of phosphorus per hectare. If it is irrigated and late sown, it requires 60 kg of nitrogen per hectare and phosphorus is about 30 kg per hectare. Rain-fed plain areas require 13 kg nitrogen per hectare and phosphorus is about 20 kg per hectare. Rain-fed hilly areas require 40 kg of nitrogen per hectare and 20 kg of nitrogen per hectare of phosphorus. Okay, these were the fertilizer application. Now moving to irrigation in barley production. Since barley is a winter season crop, it can withstand drought condition very efficiently. Thus, barley crop requires less irrigation and limited water availability. However, it requires 2 to 3 irrigations for superior yield. The malt barley requires 3 irrigations to ensure better yield, grain uniformity and grain quality. Depending upon the water availability, suitable stages for irrigation should be identified. Under limited water resources, first irrigation should be applied at active tillering stage. If water is available for 2 irrigation, crop should be irrigated at active tillering and flowering stage. Okay, understood? Let's see the critical stages of this. And number of irrigations required 1 and the crop stage is at crown root initiation. It means 30 to 35 days after sowing, and the second irrigation at panicle emergence. It is about 65 to 70 days after sowing, and third irrigation is at tillering stage 35 to 40 days after sowing. This is about irrigation management. And next, moving to crop protection practices. If we see about weed control, generally weeds cannot compete with barley crop because it grows very fast. Barley crop can withstand optimum weed population if proper crop care is taken. Broad and narrow leaf weed also can be controlled with the different herbicides. Let's see different types of weeds present here and its management. Batua, Hirankuri and Krishnanil wild carrot are the broadleaf weeds present in barley crop, and these are the weedicides can be controlled by 2,4-D Na salt of 80% and 2,4-D ester salt of 38%. It should be given 625 grams per hectare, and this application is by through after the 30 to 35 days after sowing in 250 liters of water. Now moving to weed control. Generally, weeds cannot compete with barley crop because it grows very fast. Barley crop can withstand optimum weed population, and up to 30 days is critical weed free period for barley crop. In common, we can spray pendimethalin pre-emergence 1 kg per hectare or post-emergence herbicides isoproteron at the rate of 0.7 kg per hectare and 0.5 kg to 4-DE 3 to 5 leaf stage plus 1 hand weeding proved effective weed control for this barley. If we see there will be different types of weeds of broadleaf weeds, narrow-leaf weeds, and both of them can be controlled by different application methods. Here we can see some weeds of broadleaf weeds: Batua, Hirankuri, Krishnanil and wild carrot. We can control this by spraying weedicides like 2,4-D of 80% and 2,4-D of 38% with a dosage amount of 625 gram, and it will be applied after 30 to 35 days sowing in 250 liters of water. And if it is narrow leaf weeds of wild oat and kanki, this can be controlled by isoproteron 75% or pendimethalin, as I said before, 30% AC, and it requires doses of 1250 grams and 3.75 liters of pendimethalin. It can be applied after 30 to 35 days after sowing. It will be mixing in 250 liters of water. And if there are any broadleaf and narrow-leaf weeds, it can be controlled by isoproteron 75% vegetable powder and 2,4-D of 38% and Isoguard Plus of 1 kg and 0.7 kg and 1.25 kg of. It can be applied after 30 to 35 days after sowing. It will be mixing in 250 liters of water, and in this ways we can control the weeds. Now moving to disease management. Here is the first one, bacterial blight, Xanthomonas translucens. Here I have given some slides. You can see here the symptoms of this disease were water soaked spots on foliage, shriveling dead leaves, glossy yellow or brown streaks, plant appears stunted and slow plant growth, and it is caused by bacteria. Wherever barley is grown continuously, you can see this disease, and it will be managed only by certified seeds, disease-free seed, and treatment of seeds with fungicide prior to planting to prevent this disease. And also practice crop rotation to reduce disease buildup in soil. Next, moving to second one, basal gloom rot, which is Pseudomonas syringae. Here in this slide, you can see the symptoms of this basal gloom rot. Brown discoloration at the base of the gloom, bract covering the kernel, and dark line where gloom attaches to spike, water soaked spots on leaves, yellow on necrotic spots on leaves. It will be caused by bacteria. Here, wherever the barley is grown, it will be seen mostly, and it is spread by seed. We can manage this disease by treating of seeds with fungicide prior to planting to prevent disease, which allow bacteria to enter easily. Here I have given, you can see this, practice crop rotation to reduce disease buildup in soil and block crop residue into the soil. Next, moving to barley stripe disease. In this Pycnophora graminae, you can see the symptoms here: small yellow spots on seedling, leaves, yellow to tan stripes along leaf blade before heading, red margins on stripes, that of diseased tissue, head not emerging, plant is stunted. You can only control this disease by certified seeds. Moving to barley yellow dwarf disease, it is caused by virus, and the symptoms, as you can see here, stunted growth of plants, leaf margin or leaf blade will become yellow color, and yellow green blotches at leaf tip, leaves turning bright yellow, red or purple. It will be transmitted by aphids, symptoms more apparent in colder temperatures. It will be managed by growing resistant varieties or tolerant varieties. Avoid planting crop very early or very late when aphids population are high. Okay. Next, moving to common root rot, Bipolaris sorokiniana, and it is observed in roots, and the symptoms were brown lesions on leaves nearest soil extending to stem, resembles rot, death of lower leaves, rotting roots. It can be controlled by plant crop in late fall to avoid worm, soils which favor emergence of disease, do not fertilize crop excessively, use irrigation to reduce water stress, and no chemical treatment for this disease. So we have to follow some cultivation practices. Next one, ergot claviceps purpurea. If you see the symptoms here, only head affected, flowers oozing sticky substance, honeydew. Head appears dirty due to dust sticking to honeydew. Diseased kernels turn to black mass of fungal mycelia, and the management is about till crop residue deep into soil to prevent spores being released into the air. Control weeds, especially grasses, in fields which act as a secondary host for disease. Okay. Next, moving to Fusarium head blight, Fusarium graminearium. Here I have given the slide of the disease. If we see the symptoms, initially symptoms show bleaching of some of the florets in the spike. Under favorable condition, premature blight or bleaching of whole spike may occur. As the disease progresses, head turns tan to brown discoloration. Also, we can see pink or orange color mold appears at the base of the florets. The kernels become shriveled, white and chalky. It can be managed by growing available resistant varieties. If the disease is severe, spray suitable fungicide. Okay, these were the management practice of Fusarium head blight. Next, moving to pest management. There were many pests. Of them, some important of them are, here you can see aphids, Rhophilosophum paddy and Duraphis noxia, Cetobion avinae. Aphids are very small insects. Here you can see the symptoms: yellow or white streaked leaves, flag leaves may be curled up, plant may be stunted and tillers may lie parallel to the ground. Plant may turn a purple color in cold weather. Insects are small and soft bodied and may be yellow, green, black or pink in color depending on species. Insects secrete a sugary substance called honeydew which promotes the growth of sooty mold on the plants. It will be managed by sprayed with strong jet of water to knock aphids from leaves. Insecticides are generally only required to treat aphids if the infestation is very high. Plants generally tolerate low and medium level of infestation. Moving to armyworm. Armyworm of there were many species in this also. Western striped armyworm, Mythemnia unipunctata and Sporoptera prafica. If you see the symptoms here, entire leaf will be consumed, not just eaten in leaves. Egg clusters of 50 to 150 eggs may be present on the leaves. Egg clusters are converted in a whitey scale which gives the cluster a cottony or fuzzy appearance. Young larvae are pale green to yellow in color, while older larvae are generally darkened green with a dark and light line running along the side of their body and a pink or yellow underside. It can be managed. Only organic methods of controlling RB-worms include biological control by natural enemies which parasitize the larvae and the application of Bacillus thuringiensis. There are chemicals available for commercial control, but many that are available for the home garden do not provide adequate control of the larvae. Okay, in this also this will cause huge damage, so we have to monitor the field whenever required so that we can reduce the pest incidents. Next, moving to barley mealybug, Hachian mealybug, and Trionimus hanchini. And the symptoms, if we see here, both nymphs and adults suck the sap from leaves and stem, resulting in yellowing and browning. Heavy infestation leads to a reduction in growth. Mealybug secretes honeydew, which result in sooty mold development. It can be managed by natural enemies. If infestation is severe, spray suitable insecticide. Moving to stink bug, Eucalyptus species. There were many species in stink bugs also. It will damage to head during milk or soft dove stays. Stink bugs often carry pathogens in their mouthparts which can cause secondary infections. Adult insect is shield-shaped and brown or green in color. May have pink, red or yellow markings. Eggs are drum-shaped and laid in clusters on the leaves. Larvae resemble the adults but are smaller. It can be managed by removing weeds around the crop which may act as a overwintering sites for stink bugs and practice good weed management throughout the year. Organically accepted control methods include the use of insecticidal soaps, kaolin clay and preservation of natural enemies. Okay, and we are going to see about harvesting and storage. Barley ears bend downwards when they mature. Generally, the crop gets ready for harvest by the end of March to first fortnight of April. Sometimes strong winds can blow off barley kernels, therefore it should be harvested on time to avoid yield loss. If we see the yield content, under irrigated conditions, grain yield is around 3.0 to 3.5 tonnes per hectare and straw yield is about 4 to 5 tonnes per hectare. In rainfall situation, depending on the weather condition, grain yields levels vary from 1.5 to 3.3 tonnes per hectare to 3 tonnes per hectare. This was about barley crop production techniques. And next, moving to crop production of oats. Oats is an important cereal crop as well as fodder crop. Cultivation of oats is similar as wheat crop. It is mainly grown in temperate and subtropical climate. It can also thrive well in high altitude tropics. They are very popular due to their health benefits. Oatmeal is very famous food. Oats is rich in proteins and fiber. They also help in weight loss, controlling blood pressure and for building strong immune system. This was the general information about the oat crop, and now we are moving to origin. Oats is Asiatic origin. Asia Minor is believed to be an origin for oats. Okay, and it's distributed over in different countries and different areas in India also. If you see the area and production in the world, it is about 27 million hectare and the production is about 40 million tonnes respectively. In countries like Russian Federation, USA, Canada, Poland, China, France and Australia plays important role for cultivating these oats. And in India, if some places of Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and limited areas in Madhya Pradesh, Orissa, Bihar, West Bengal are the oats growing states. Now moving to economic importance. Here, oats is a good cattle feed, human food in the form of good quality grain, oatmeals and cookies. As I said before, oatmeals helps in weight loss, controlling blood pressure, and for building strong immune system. Okay, and not only that, there are different types of cultivated types of 7 haploid, it means 14 chromosomes, and 14 haploid of 28 chromosomes, and 25 haploid varieties of 42 chromosomes. And in common oats, Avena sativa spread in 80% of total oats cultivation area. Not only that, Avena brevis is short oat grown in South Europe for green fodder. Avena abyssinica is Abyssinian oat grown in North Africa. Red oats is grown around Mediterranean region. Now moving to varieties of oats, there were different varieties of following HFO of 114 variety. It is also known as Haryana oats 114. It is a high yielding variety of 500 quintals of green fodder per hectare, which grows very fast after harvesting. Usually 2 to 3 cuts are taken. And second variety, UPO 94. This variety of oats is very good in yield. It gives 500 to 550 quintals of green fodder per hectare. This variety is resistant to diseases and scorching diseases. Next variety is Kent. This variety cooks in medium time, which is useful for the plain mountain regions of northern India. It is resistant to diseases and scorching diseases. Yield capacity is about 500 to 550 quintals per hectare of green fodder. And the last variety is Algerian variety. This type of plant remains green for a long time. It is an early maturing variety of 145 to 155 days of about 400 to 500 quintals of green fodder is available from 1 hectare. Okay, these were the some varieties of oat crop. And now moving to soil and climatic requirement. In the soil and climatic requirement, wide range of soil with good water holding capacity is more suited for oat cultivation. High nitrogen content in soil is not a desirable condition, may lead to lodging. Okay, we have to check that. And climatic requirement is cool weather is important during grain filling for high yield, and grows best in cool and moist climate, and also best adapted to cotton belt. Next, moving to cultivation practices of land preparation or land selection. Oats can be cultivated in all types of soil, but loam soil is best for its cultivation. pH should be between 5 to 6.6 for this crop. And if field preparation, to get a good germination of oat crop, it is necessary to prepare the field properly. For this, run 2 or 3 plows from the native plow in the field, or once in the tractor powered equipment once after running the cultivator. Okay, after that the field should be flattened by running the patha, and next make proper arrangement for drainage in the field. And sowing of oats, time of sowing is about November is the most suitable time for sowing of oats to get more production, but depending on the conditions and supply of fodder, its sowing can be done till December first week. And the spacing required is 25 to 30 centimeters, and depth of sowing is about 3 to 4 centimeter. Method of sowing will be done through drilling method and zero tillage drill. And the seedling and treatment. Seed treatment is done. Seed rate required for this is 100 kg of seeds per hectare required for fodder variety, and if it was grains, it required 80 kg of seeds per hectare. Okay. Moving to manures and fertilizer. In common, 12 to 12.5 tons per hectare of FIM is to be applied before last ploughing and to be incorporated before sowing. And NPK is required in amounts of 80 kg, 40 kg is recommended dose of fertilizers. 100% phosphorus is to be applied as basal, and 60 kg of nitrogen is to be applied as basal, and 10 kg at first irrigation and 10 kg at second irrigation is good for higher yield. 10 kg of nitrogen is to be applied after first cutting if sown for fodder cum grain varieties. Okay, moving to water management, it requires 4 to 5 irrigations provide good yields. Okay, generally irrigation immediately after each cutting is mandatory. Critical stage for irrigation of oats is tillering stage. First irrigation should be done on 20 to 25 days after sowing. Proper drainage should be done. The amount of irrigation depends on the type and temperature of the land. For the production of healthy seeds, there should be moisture in the fields. Due to lack of moisture, seed production decreases. So we have to maintain optimum amount of moisture always. Next, moving to crop protection practices. In wheat control, the oat crop left for fodder requires less fertility because wheats do not thrive due to higher number of plants. But wheat control is beneficial in crops taken for seed production. Okay. To control wide leaf weeds, spray 500 gram to 40 using 600 liters of water per hectare. Moving to disease management. Here is the first disease, crown rust, Puccinia carinata. The symptoms of this seed, chlorotic flakes or brown necrotic pods on leaves or stems. Here in this slide you can see that yellow streaks or patches on foliage. This one. Okay, brown necrotic streaks on foliage, raised orange pustules may be present on lesions. It can be most managed by effective method of controlling rust is to plant resistant varieties of oats. Planting oats early allow them to mature before spores reach plant and escape most damage. Okay, follow these methods for controlling this disease. Next, moving to loose mud, Ystolago aveneum. Here if we see the symptoms of this, early emergence of heads, dark green or black masses in place of kernels. In this slide you can see the symptoms of this loose mud disease, and it can be managed by use only certified mud free seed, treat seeds with hot water prior to planting to kill fungi, and treat seeds with systematic fungicide, grow resistant varieties. These were the management practices of loose mud. Next, moving to pest management. Aphids, you have already seen in the barley crop, Rhopalocephum parry and Diurophis noxia, Cetobion avenae. If you see the symptoms, yellow or white streak leaves, flag leaves may be curled up, plant may be stunted and tillers may lie parallel to the ground. Plants may turn a purple color in cold weather conditions, and insects are very small and soft bodied and may be yellow, green, black or pink in color depending on species. Insects secrete a sugary substance called honeydew which promotes the growth of sooty mold on the plants. If you see the management practices, sturdy plants can be sprayed with a strong jet of water to knock aphids from leaves. These management practices can be done same as barley crop. Okay. Next, moving to oats harvesting. After reaching 75 to 85 days of sowing, 50% of the oat crop can be harvested. Harvesting 50% of crop can give about 400 quintals of green fodder. The crop taken for 2 harvesting should be harvested in 55 to 60 days, and the second harvesting should be done after 50% flowering. This harvesting will be about 550 quintals of green fodder per hectare. First harvest of plants should be done at a height of 4 to 5 centimeters. They are fully mature and ready to harvest after 4 to 5 months of sowing, or you can say that they can be harvested in early April month. Moving to yield of oats. If oats are cultivated for fodder purpose, an average fodder yield of 220 to 300 quintal per hectare and an about 5 quintal grain per hectare can be obtained. If they are cultivated For grain purpose, an average grain yield of 15 to 20 quintal per hectare and straw yields about 25 quintal per hectare can be achieved. This was about oats cultivation practices. Thank you so much, students, and I am going to put some questions from today's topic to understand whether we have understood or not. Okay, now I am going here. First question: the most popular form of barley in United States. Mention the most popular form of barley in United States. Second question: what was the origin of barley? What was the original place of barley? Second question. Third question: mention some major areas of barley cultivation in India. Mention some major areas of barley cultivation in India. Fourth question: what was the protein content of oats? What was the protein content of oats? Fifth question: what was the requirement of fertilizer of NPK in barley crop? What was the total requirement of fertilizer of NPK in barley crop? Okay. Sixth question: broadleaf weeds in barley can be managed by. Broadleaf weeds in barley can be managed by. Seventh question: barley yellow dwarf caused by barley yellow dwarf disease caused by. What was the next question? What was the yield of barley under rainfed condition? What was the yield of barley under rainfed condition? Okay. Next, moving to oats crop. First question: what was the area and production of oats crop? Mention the area and production of oats crop. Second question: seed rate required for fodder oats. Seed rate required for fodder oats. Next question: how many irrigations are required for good production? How many irrigations are required for good production of oats crop? Okay, these were the questions from the today's topic. Mention the answer in the comment section. Thank you so much. If you are having any queries or any doubts from the today's topic, you can ask me in comment section. Thank you.